Hi everybody, this is April from Second Star Journal, and this week we're going to be documenting week 3 of Project Life. And I did it a little different this week. I have my journaling cards picked up because I was looking for a specific journaling card that said something along the lines of today was or today I'm feeling, because I wanted to kind of stamp out words of how I felt when I was watching the inauguration. But I ended up finding this heart journaling card that I could stamp out on and thought it would work perfectly, and decided at the last minute that I actually want to use my We Are Memories punch board and use up some of my old scrap paper to punch out the words. And you see here I am doing the word, it's hard to tell, joy. I show you how I do it on film, but then I do the rest off of camera. But I just grabbed that L Studio paper. Now this was the only paper that I didn't have any scrap paper of because I didn't have anything along that dark blue line. Now, just for reference, for those of you who may have this punch board, I ended up putting the letter J in number 1, the Y in number 9, and then I took those off and put the O in number 5, and then I just cut it down to size. Now, you will see here shortly that the words I ended up punching out are hope, inspire, proud, united, and joy, just kind of all the things I was feeling when I watched the inauguration, and actually when I watched the poet Amanda Gorman, which is that picture right there. It was an amazing poem. Now, since this is 2 3x4 cards that I found, and it is going in a 4x6 sleeve, I just grabbed some washi tape and stick that down the seam of the journaling cards and cut off the excess. And I've done this multiple times. It holds up. I've never had a problem with it. And I just cut off the extra and stick it in the sleeve, and it stays where it needs to. Now here is where I bring out my other word phrases that I punched out. You see the joy right there, and then I'm grabbing the other ones that I had done previously. There's inspire, there's proud, and united, and then hope. And I tried to match the colors with the hearts as much as I can, and I love how it came out. To stick these all down, I grabbed my Xyron Create a Sticker Machine, and I will link products that I use in the description below. I grabbed that and run those through that, and you just rub it on the other side, and it did an amazing job sticking it down, and I'm beyond happy with the way that this card came out. When I was thinking about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to journal it, this wasn't really what I had in mind, but it came out way better than what I could hope for, and the colors just match perfectly. Once I'm done sticking all of those punch board phrases out, I grab the picture I have of Amanda Gorman and the quote and stick that down. Now, when I originally picked this out, I liked the color of that purple because it matched the title card, but once I had it all together, I was not feeling that purple. I did pre-select a die cut that said this was pretty amazing, and I wanted to put it on that picture because I really, really loved that poem. So I ended up just covering up that purple pencil and calling that card good, and I really love how it comes out. Next is my title card. This week I wanted to change it up, and I wanted to use my Ali Edwards digital week by week stamp set. So I go over to my Photoshop, create a new document, size it 6x4 so it can match my title card, and then I bring down those little measurements to where the stripes are on my journaling card. Then I open up my week 3 Ali Edwards digital stamp, which is right there. I copy that, paste that over on my other document, and then I resize that to the size that I want it, and then just move that to where I want it placed on my title card, and then print it out on my title card, and it comes out really, really good. So the next thing I do is I grab that today kind of tag and I stick it down, and after I stick it down, I'm like, I really want to sew this kind of up on the left hand side of this, just one stitch. So I grab my little sewing machine. Now, this sewing machine I asked for Christmas. It was on Amazon, and it is a smaller size because I don't have much room here in my craft area. So I did go for the smaller size. Now, that being said, you'll see I do struggle with sewing on this card. First thing I struggle with is actually threading it, so I sped through that so you guys don't have to see that headache that I had. But then, because this doesn't have a reverse, you kind of go forward a little bit, then you have to swing it around, and the 4x6 card, you can see I had to bend up to get it to fit, to go back to kind of secure the stitch. And then when I was halfway through sewing up that line, it kind of jammed, and I just decided to call this good. I mean, I like the way that it looked on my title card, but I did have a couple of issues with that sewing machine. But I do love it as a whole because it's just, I have it just for these projects. So then I grab my tag. It is kind of like a dark red tag, and my Huddy Swap roller date stamps to stamp out the dates. So, funny story about this roller date stamp. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you see that I kind of use the paper like that to block off the year because I don't want to stamp it. Well, today I found out that you can actually have it where the year is blank, so it just stamps the date. So on the second round, you see here, I just stamp it a little lower because it wouldn't fit, and then just use a pen to make a little dash between the dates. Now, I use this adhesive roller, and I really can't pronounce the name, so I will link it in my description below. But I love this roller because it does a good job sticking, but as you can see, I wanted to put this tag under the Today flag, so I am able to peel it up a little bit without ruining my projects. The next thing I wanted to work on was I was going to create a flip pocket with this. So I grab my Kelly Creates marker and I just kind of journal a little bit. Now I do make a couple of mistakes, and you will see I'm going with this flip pocket. The first thing I do is I grab my slicer and I grab a spare piece of paper, and I usually cut them 2 inches thick and then a little under the 3 inches because I don't want it to stick out. Well, when I was printing my photos, which I use my Canon Pixma IX6820 printer to print it out, apparently I had cut the photo a little shorter than 3 inches, and you'll see it once I stick it down to that little flap. Now, you can use washi tape to create flaps. I just like using spare scrap paper because I feel like it gives it a little bit more secure when you are going through and flipping it. So now here you see I'm cutting the extra of the flap off because my photo's not quite 3x4. Once I have the photo stuck down to the flap, I grab my 3x4 journaling about the book, which I'll say I haven't read a couple of books for a while, and I picked this one up recently, and it took me 2 days to finish it. It was such a good book, and I really enjoyed reading it. Now, the first mistake I made is before I wanted to put these 2 cards together, I wanted a little tag that you knew to lift up. So I stuck my roller tape on that card and then realized I don't have that made. So I grabbed my Elle Studio Collected stamp set, and this stamp set's great because it has 2 different size tags and then phrases or words that fit inside those. I ended up using lift up here. Now you will see shortly on my tag stamp, the color of the stamp is orange. And like I said in a previous video, I love archival ink, but they do stain the stamps. And I had used it for red for Christmas, but it stains it, but it doesn't ruin it because you can see it stamps out black perfectly. There's no hint of that red or orange from previously. The next best thing about this stamp set is they have a coordinating die cut that matches the two different sizes of the tags, and I just grab that rectangular one and stick it over that and use my Sizzix Sidekick to cut it out. Now, I love my Sizzix Sidekick. It is the perfect size because I am limited in my craft room. With that being said, it also limits the die cuts that you can have. There have been many die cuts that I have seen that just won't fit through that. So it is a kind of something you need to take into consideration. Once I have that die cut where I needed to be positioned, my second mistake is I wanted to run that top journaling card through my typewriter, but I stick it down and then decide just to handwrite my journaling on it. It's no big deal. But see, there's that little tag that tells you to lift up here, and it's perfect. The next card that I want to work on is my favorite part of journaling card. I grabbed my Citrus Twist weekish stamps because I know that they have different ways to say this week on it. And when I was trying to see what size week I wanted, I saw that they had this and week together, where the this is sideways, and I really liked how that looked. So I do struggle here trying to actually get it where I want it to be. But once I do, I grab my stamp block and then just do my test stamp and then stamp it out on that journaling card, and it almost fits perfectly in that little tealish area. To finish off that card, I run it through my typewriter from the journaling and then move on to my Happy Mail photo of my Feed Your Craft that I got in the mail this week, which was so exciting, and just use that today tag to kind of journal how happy I was. Now, because I had pre-picked out my die cuts and my journaling cards, I tried to get colors that kind of complemented each other, and like that yellow star ties with the yellow title card, and then the yellow heart and the yellow proud. So I tried to make all the colors kind of incorporated together. The last die cut that I end up using is a brand new day die cut. I stick it on my favorite part of this week journaling card, and then move on to my word phrases and chipboard pieces, because I'm still trying to go through and use up my old stash and find a Felicity Jane Shea puffy word sticker that says happy, and put that on my Happy Mail photo, and then just go through again to see if there's any other phrase or anything that matches kind of like cookie or baking or this was good, because I feel like that cookie picture is missing something. So then I go through my chipboard pieces, see if there's anything that has to do with food, either a fork or knife. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to put on that cookie picture, because it just seems so dull to me. So I find my Christmas leftover puffy stickers, which are the stars, the hearts, and the dots, and decide to go through that and use up some of those, because that pink matches a lot of the pink in the spread. So I grab a pink star and then a pink puffy heart and put that on my cookie picture. And then to kind of just tie it all together with the others, I grab a pink dot to replace the dash on the date stamps. And then to pull the left side and the right side together, I grab another pink heart and put it on that Amanda picture or right above it. And then one more to kind of tie it in, I grab the gray heart and put that right above a brand new day and call this spread good. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. If you do, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.